Hello, this is Dan Winship. I'm going to cover some topics here on this Bellcrank mold making. What you're looking at here is roughly 1 inch thick aluminum plate. It's milled flat on the top. And this Bellcrank you're looking at laying on that aluminum plate has been clayed up to keep the either the surface coat or the casting resin from going underneath it. There's one coat of PVA on this part right now, the Bellcrank. The pins are oil hardening drill rod, and the pins are pretty close tolerance. If you get into music wire, you're looking at plus or minus 0.5 of a thousandth, and that's just too much of a variance to mold around because of the waviness of it. So you need something a little bit smoother and straighter. So that's why you got the drill rod. The drill rod doesn't actually go down into the aluminum block, although it could. When you put the drill rod in this Bellcrank, want to make sure they're vertical. That's the main thing, because once you mold this casting, you're going to have those holes in there forever. What you're looking at here, it's got some PVA on it. This was sprayed in there. It's a little rough. This mold didn't come out really as good as I hoped because it was a little rushed on the PVA. So the uprights you're looking at, the white plastic stuff, it's UHMW, ultra high molecular weight. And you really don't have to wax it. You can. Free coat 700 NC mold release on it works great. So the aluminum plate and the phenolic Bellcrank pattern have PVA on it. The UHMW sides have a 700 free coat on it. And then the drill rods, no PVA, they're released with 700 NC, maybe a little wax, and then 700 free coat. And once you get this thing boxed up, and then it's set to either put your surface coat or cast it. And the main thing to remember here, you don't want anything to go underneath the Bellcrank. You don't want anything between the Bellcrank and the aluminum plate underneath. That way you're not going to lock the part in the mold, because whatever runs underneath that Bellcrank pattern will end up locking it in when it comes time to remove the pattern from the mold. So just a quick look, run a little small bead of clay around there, get it nice and tight on the sides. If your box fits tight enough to the aluminum plate, you don't have to worry about sealing that up. So that's just a quick overview on what it takes to make the mold.